A warm welcome extended by the author Mr. Alouk Kumar.
दूसरे देशों को एडवांटेज मिल रही है और यही तो इस पुस्तक का क्रक्स है और ऑथर हैं हमारे आलोक कुमार जी. आई वुड नाउ लाइक टू इनवाइट आलोक कुमार जी टू काइंडली कम ऑन द स्टेज एंड गिव हिज इनॉग्रल एड्रेस.
शुक्रिया भावना जी. So, respected former Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice K.G. Balakrishnan ji, former Justice Allahabad High Court, Honorable Mr. Justice Ravindra Singh ji, President Supreme Court Bar Association Sri Adish Agarwal ji, former Director General of Police Chhattisgarh Sri Binay Kumar Singh ji, IPS, Senior Lawyer and ex-Chairman Bar Council of India, Delhi, Sri Ramesh Gupta ji, sorry today he is not present, former Raw Officer and author of the book Mission Raw and Nuclear Bomb in Ganga, Sri R.K. Yadav ji, Editor Navodaya Times, Sri Aku Srivastava ji, Advisor Prasar Bharati, Sri Umesh Chaturvedi ji, National Editor Newspaper Mint, Sri Gautam Das ji, Deputy Editor Dainik Bhaskar Mukesh Kaushik ji और सभा में आए सभी अतिथिगण. Ladies and gentlemen, so at the outset, I express my sincerest thanks and heartfelt gratitude to you all for making it to the grand occasion of the book launch ceremony of Advantage India. Your kind presence at the event has given us a sense of pride, belief, and confidence, and shall also provide a much needed perspective and insights to the literary enthusiasts and practicing and budding law professionals of the country. Many of them are today present here, the budding law professionals. You must be wondering why this book. Obviously, since we are launching this book, so you must be wondering why this book, what was the idea behind writing this book, why was it named as Advantage India, what was the need, and why the need arose when we started researching and exploring the future direction and dimension of the services sector. So when we started researching about the services sector, then we understood that how services sector is going to contribute to the nation's economy, nation's growth. During our research, we reached to an understanding that India has all the right ingredient at the right time to emerge as a global hub for the legal services and grossly contribute to the overall economic development of the country, including the job creations in abundance for the most populous country of ours and establish India's legal fraternity at the global center stage. As we all understand, the new age emerging technologies are acting as disruptors, and it is going to further disrupt the businesses and services, including the emerging legal services. This book is an initiative aimed at taking the mother nation one notch higher in further enhancing the scope of India's ever-rising services sector. As we all know, currently India's contribution to the global trade and commerce is in tune of 3 to 4%, whereas services sector is contributing to in the tune of 7 to 8%. So that is actually double the size of the manufacturing sector, whereas we all know that traditionally manufacturing sector has always considered to be contributing more to the economy. But during the last 2-3 decades, the trends have changed. We also understand ever-increasing competition amongst the countries into the manufacturing sector is on the rise than ever before. In post-pandemic world particularly, where the global markets are reeling under depression, the competition into the manufacturing sector is also set on the rise. For the mother nation India, the sigh of relief is our evergreen services sector, which currently dominates with double the size of the manufacturing sector as India's contribution to the global economy or global trade and commerce. Let us now look upon the demography of India. A very interesting figure I know a few of you must be aware of. How it is going to demography of India and how it is going to lead the country towards a dominant global supremacy. India is home to more than 600 million, or in other words, 60 crore people aged in between 18 to 35 years, with 65% under the age of 35. India's demographic dividend is expected to persist at least until 2055 and 2055 to 56 and will peak around 2041 when the share of the working age population of 20 to 59 years of age shall hit around 60% mark. So you can see the kind of working age population India has in abundance. Given the geographic and demographic dividend of the country, India is set to further dominate the export of services, being a young country where more than half of the population is below 35 years of age and majority of them are bilingual. Now the question is, as a country, are we ready to capture the demographic dividend and the opportunities prevailing at the global marketplace? We all know India is known for and known by its contribution to the information technology, the field of ever-growing information technology. Our IT industry has set India as a dominant player globally and particularly into the developed countries like USA, UK, Australia and Europe. We are aware future is going to be driven and led by the technology in almost all spheres of life, and the emerging legal services is not going to be an exception. However, the biggest question is, what shall be the most robust model for India's growth? Naturally, the manufacturing export-led initiative comes to the fore in order to develop the country fast, whereas under prevalent global scenario, the services sector can offer much more to the country, to the economy, for faster and better job creation and thus achieving the scale in economy and better per capita income, which ultimately has the potential to enhance the overall well-being of the fellow citizens and the country. Now I wish to place before you our understanding and the prevailing global scenario in the context of Advantage India. In the past, services were much harder to export than manufactured goods, if you look around 30-40 years back. But the times have changed. With the after effect, particularly of the pandemic, the technology-led services from a distant place is getting more and more acceptable. Particularly of the pandemic, the technology-led services from a distant place is getting more and more acceptable. For an instance, video conferencing has become easy and have taken a front seat in our day-to-day functioning, which catapulted to cost and time saving, thereby improving the deliverables at a much faster and credible price or economical rate. In pre-pandemic era, the services were mostly limited to back office operations. Now looking into the trend, with the amalgamation of new age technology, a new phenomenon called semi-front office has come into existence. If you look at the global market, you will see a new phenomenon which is nowadays taking shape. That is a semi-front office management. So how the semi-front office management can contribute to the country's growth and country's growth and country's economy. Hence, it is not going to be limited to the development process. So it is not going to be limited to the development, like as we all know in IT particularly, it is all about development. Process automation, process refinement only, rather than the professionals based out in India can deliver a matching services to the client based out at United States of America, UK, Australia and Europe. Globally, India is typically known for its IT services, but during the last 4 years, professional and management consulting services have grown faster at a compound growth rate of 31%. So this point I would like to emphasize upon, that in last 4 years itself, if you look after and that includes the post-pandemic era also, the compound growth into the services sector is at around 31% year on year, and have taken a center stage. This is where the future of India's legal industry is going to play an important and pertinent role. The whole idea behind this book is how this industry is going to play an important role in building and shaping the nation. The most important impact of the rise of services sector is going to be the quality job creations. The youngsters in India are comparable. Youngsters, many of the youngsters are sitting here today. I would like to mention here specifically the youngsters in India. The quality of youngsters in India are comparable with any other global market. We all know India, we have a great network of quality legal education, colleges and university, which has emerged in last 10-15 years or so. Many of them are comparable with any good global law school, and let me also tell you and share one data with you that as a country, India produces 70,000 lawyers every year. India produces 70,000 qualified lawyers every year. It's a huge number if you look at from other economy, it's a huge number. The most fascinating aspect of our legal education system is that it produces quality English-speaking professionals who are well versed not only with the Indian law but also the international law. The kind of education, few of our educationists are sitting and I'm sure they are going to dwell upon this during their deliberation. The most heartening feature is that with some training and exposures, they can even become a trained and expert professional and understand the nuances of a state and country-specific laws, such as into the United States of America, United Kingdom, and European state, which is very much possible. The most important impact of the rise of the services sector is going to be the quality job creation. The youngsters in India are comparable with international standards and can speak fairly good English and cost a fraction in comparison to their global counterparts, if you look at the services. The cost efficiency is such we can deliver services as less as 20% of the cost of what they are being practiced and delivered in the developed economies like USA, UK and Europe. So that is the advantage India has. So one side we have a demographic advantage, another side we have a cost efficiency. So look at the kind of opportunity legal industry is offering nowadays. Of course, local knowledge in terms of global market, its understanding and functioning of legal system is important, but that can well be addressed by infusing the local resources from respective countries. So idea is that, somebody might say that suppose, if we are working in India, how are you going to well versed with, any global market? Say, a state like Florida, like all of us know. In USA, every state has a different law, different legislature. So under that, how it is going? So obviously, the solution could be, suppose if we have 10 people from India, 10 professionals, 10 consultants from India, one person from Florida also can be hired, one consultant can be there, services can be taken from there, and accordingly, the structure of the team and the deliverables can be made or can be developed. The rapidity of expansion is visible in the jobs generated in last 4 years. It's a very interesting data. Why we are talking about it is advantage India. You have to also look at the rapidity of the expansion which is visible in jobs generated in last 4 years. So let me share with you one data recently published by NASSCOM. We all know NASSCOM. It is an Indian organization. IT, they basically focus on IT. So NASSCOM data reflects in India around 3 lakh employees were hired in one financial year itself, that is the ongoing financial year, 2023. During the course of a year of 2023, 3 lakh employees were hired into these kind of economies or these kind of services, these kind of businesses. Whereas if we compare, in the corresponding 4 years, last 4 years, the total number of hiring was 4 lakh. So in 4 years, 4 lakh people were hired, but in 1 year, 3 lakh have been hired in the last financial year. So you can see the kind of growth and the kind of potential the industry has. And the way it is being, the way we can look at it is just, let me also tell you, it is just a beginning. It is just a beginning. We are only seeing the cusp. So, and this phenomenon is set to be on rise in the upcoming years. I would also like to take the opportunity to share with you all about a very recent as November 2023 report. This month report, I mean, we are sitting in the month of December, and this report was published in the month of November 2023. I mean, last month itself, published by the Ernst & Young, EY, India, one of the big four global consulting organizations. Ernst & Young, they published a report, and according to the report, they much talked about new technology. The generative artificial intelligence or generative AI has the potential to add US dollar 1.5 trillion to India's GDP in over next 7 years. So I'm just re-emphasizing. So in next 7 years, there is a probability, there is a potential that with the generative AI, we are going to add 1.5 trillion to our economy. And let me also share with you one data. Our current economy, I mean, size of the GDP is around 3.75 trillion. In between 3.75 trillion to 4 trillion, a trillion you can say. This is the current data I'm sharing with you. So you can just imagine in 7 years' time, over and above on the current economy of 4 trillion, 1.5 trillion is going to be added. And that will be added only from the new technology, the generative AI or generative artificial intelligence. The new age services sector led by new technology is set to add 40% in terms of percentage value. You will see 40% in terms of 40% by 2029 and 30. I mean, next 7 years. So up to by 30, it is going to add 40% to a further additional 40% to the GDP. So this is the, I mean, I have shared a perspective. So the idea and the biggest beneficiary in terms of export of services is going to be the industry segment of IT and legal sector. According to that report, the research, the global major, created or published by AY. The major beneficiaries would be the two sectors. First is going to be the IT and second is going to be the legal sector. So see the kind of potential, the kind of scope legal sector is producing, and it is on offing as of today. So, so yes, there is going to be advantage India. I am now concluding. So yes, there is going to be now advantage India. And the biggest question is, are we ready? The biggest question, are we ready to take up this, to utilize the opportunity? Are we prepared to take the advantage in offing or up for grab in abundance? Now I may like to take an advantage. All the sirs are sitting here and shall leave the question before the widely respected scholars, learned and honored member on the dais. I most humbly urge upon and request to kindly consider and include these two into your deliberations and share your point of view on the agenda for India, advantage India. Thank you very much.
Stay tuned for more update of the event.